Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Milt, here to do another video. This time I'm doing a top 10 Star Wars video, and it's going to be in the top 10 lightsaber duels in the movies. I'm not counting the animated series of Star Wars or of Rebels or Clone Wars. I'm not doing the micro series. I'm strictly doing from episode 1 to episode 7. So let's start this off. My honorable mention is going to be Dooku versus Anakin Skywalker from Attack of the Clones. This is my honorable mention because this is probably the weakest of all the duels. I think this, look, and don't get me wrong, I like the prequel movies. I'm not going to apologize for that. But I felt that this duel was kind of BS. Like, I didn't really feel anything emotionally for this fight. I thought Dooku and Anakin were just dancing around, and that's hard for me to say because I know a lot of people always say, oh, I like the original trilogy of lightsaber duels because they're not dancing. They're just hacking away. Don't get me wrong. There is some validity to that. But I do like how the Jedi in their prime are graceful and aggressive, you know. And in this one, they were just too graceful. There wasn't much aggressiveness at all, except for when Dooku cut off, you know, spoiler alert, he cut off Anakin's right arm. Okay, but that was it. Like, I just felt Anakin and Dooku were just bullshitting during this fight, but that's my honorable mention, okay? So for number 10, let's start this off. Number 10, Count Dooku versus Obi-Wan Kenobi, Attack of the Clones. I actually kind of liked their fight. I felt that, you know, Obi-Wan, you know, was starting to really test his powers or his skill level as a Jedi Master now, going up against a Sith Lord and Count Dooku. And this is the first time we ever seen, you know, Count Dooku fight the lightsaber duel. We all thought he's an old man. How can he fight? Because we're so used to seeing old guys in the Star Wars trailer series not be able to move well. Dooku surprises. He can actually move well for an old guy. But, you know, you understand in that era, the Jedi and the Sith were very powerful. They were in their prime, so they could move and use the Force to tap in and move gracefully like that. So that duel wasn't too bad. So that's why it's number 10 for me. Number 9, Mace Windu versus Palpatine, Revenge of the Sith. I didn't mind this one. A lot of people actually laugh at this duel because they think that, you know, it was kind of, you know, Palpatine / Ian McDermott. They felt he was out of place holding a lightsaber. And honestly, no, I didn't mind it. I thought the CGI wasn't that bad, and I thought that they did a good job of just placing Ian McDermott to duel Mace Windu, and I thought it was actually turned out okay. I really enjoyed the part where, you know, the part where I felt like it was Star Wars in this duel was whenever Mace and Palpatine were near that big plate glass window, and they broke it open. And that felt like Star Wars to me again, because there's always something that's staked now. They were near a big corridor. So yeah, I thought that duel was perfect, and how it ended was awesome. You know, this is spoilers. You know, when Anakin shows up, cuts off Mace's arm, and, you know, Palpatine does his, like, unlimited power! Like, that was pretty badass. Every time I see that scene, I laugh my ass off, because it's funny, but also just seeing that smirk on Palpatine's face right when Anakin cuts off his arm is just badass. So I really enjoyed that fight. Number 8 for me, I'm looking down here, it has to be Finn and Rey versus Kylo Ren, The Force Awakens. This one is on my bottom 10 because I'm still not convinced that Kylo should have lost this fight. People may argue me on this one, but I felt that Kylo was such a badass at the beginning of this movie. All of a sudden, he gets his ass bitched by Rey. Now, again, I'm not saying Rey's a soft character. Now, Finn had no business keeping up with Kylo, and Kylo dismissed him real quick. Oh, you want to poke me in the arm, Finn? I'm going to cut your fucking spine. Fucking badass. But Rey, even though she was Force sensitive, she was starting to just tap into her powers. People, let's not forget. Now, people may say, Milton, Kylo got shot in the abdomen by the bowcaster, so he's going to be weak. You're absolutely right. He was practically dying. But you're telling me when you've been trained by Luke Skywalker and somewhat trained by, again, keyword somewhat, trained by Supreme Leader Snoke, you ain't nice with a lightsaber? You ain't that powerful? Hell, people, we saw him catch a goddamn blaster bolt in the beginning of the movie. I'm sorry. There's still no way that he should have lost that. Let's come on, people. Let's keep it real. Darth Vader wouldn't never let that shit happen. And I know people say, well, he's a fourth, fled goddamn Sith. You're right. But still, though, he was powerful enough and angry enough to keep his mind right and not let Rey kick his ass. So that's why that's number 8 for me. Now, I'm hoping in the next movie, Kylo Ren is going to be badass and angry and start taking lives, and at least taking fucking arms. He needs to cut Rey's arm off, in my opinion, just to get revenge. He needs to win this next battle. Unless he's fighting Luke, because Luke should kick his ass. But yeah, Kylo should have never lost that fight, in my opinion. But yeah, that's why it's number 8 for me. Number 7, Anakin versus Count Dooku, Revenge of the Sith. I really enjoyed that, especially whenever Dooku tosses Obi-Wan across the room, traps him. Anakin gets pissed, kicks him in the face, flips over, and then goes at it. Like, I really love that. And I really loved how Dooku was like, hey, you got a lot of anger. You know, you got a lot of fear. Unleash it. And all of a sudden he does it, cuts off his hands, slice off his fucking head. Dope. Like, I fucking love that fight. I enjoyed it. Number 6 for me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, or I should say Ben Kenobi, versus Darth Vader, Episode 4, New Hope. Even though this isn't my favorite lightsaber duel, I have to have it at least number 6 because it's the first lightsaber duel we've ever seen in a Star Wars film at the time. Ben Kenobi, Darth Vader, we figured out that they had a history. They tell you throughout the movie. And just seeing how it wasn't about, this fight wasn't about, the skill level. It wasn't about, the force per se. It was just about two men who used to be friends. And there's a lot of bad blood right there. And it was just good to see that conflict. And I'll be the first person to tell you, I love the prequel fights because it's so aggressive and visually it's stunning. But I have to admit, I felt this fight. I felt for Obi-Wan. I felt for Darth Vader in this fight. So yeah, this is why it's number 6 for me, and I really enjoyed it. So, number 5, Yoda versus Palpatine, Revenge of the Sith. That fight is beyond epic because the best part about that fight is that these two men are very powerful wizards or super Jedi, super Sith, and they are the cream of the crop. They are at this level for each where they are. And just seeing them test each other with a lightsaber, seeing them in the senator chambers where they're throwing goddamn Senate seats, that whole thing is visually stunning. Stunning, people. You may not agree with me on this fight where it's number 5, but just seeing him throw seats and just seeing the symbolism of, how the Republic's falling, and, that's awesome, man. I really enjoy that. So that's why it's number 5. Number 4, Anakin versus Obi-Wan, Revenge of the Sith. Again, I really enjoy. This is one of my favorite fights of all time. Even though it's not my number 1, it's one of my favorites because I can watch this many times as I can, as much times as I want. I love this fight that much. Just seeing the anger and the rage of Anakin, seeing the frustration and sadness of Obi-Wan having to fight his friend, and just having to put him down and say, hey, you are a threat to the Republic, you are a threat to the Jedi. I gotta put you down. Your mind is gone. And just seeing that conflict, man, was awesome. And now a lot of people do say, oh, Milton, this fight isn't that great because there's nothing at stake. Yeah, there is. The fate of the galaxy is at stake. Anakin's, soul's at stake. Obi-Wan's life is at stake. Hell, Padme's life is at stake. You know what I'm saying? Like, Luke and Leia's life are at stake. He choked the life out of his own mother, or of the mother of his children. So there's a lot at stake here, and just seeing that battle goes on, it was visually stunning, and I just really enjoyed it. I'm not going to apologize for that because I really enjoyed the prequel fights. Number 3, Luke versus Vader, Return of the Jedi. This is when Luke was, a full-fledged Jedi, man, and he was starting to really feel himself as a Jedi, and just seeing the progression from where he was in New Hope to Return of the Jedi was awesome. And you clearly know he dominated this fight from the jump. Anyone try to tell me, oh, Vader should have kicked his ass? No. Luke was more powerful. Luke was more, imbalanced with the Force. Darth Vader was just, he was like this. Luke was like, no, I'm thinking about the big picture. And Luke just brought the hammer, and Luke definitely tapped into the dark side, which was cool to see that. But you saw him, step back and be that true Jedi. He's like, hey, I'm not going to beat you with fighting. I'm going to beat you by non-fighting. That was cool to see that. So, number 2, Luke versus Vader, Empire Strikes Back. This is one of my favorite fights of all time. I probably said it multiple times on this list, but it's true. This is one of the first fights I was like, God damn, I wish I was a goddamn Sith Lord, because I would have just worked Luke if I had that type of power. Because you saw Luke's power, really his potential come out, but Vader's like, F that, I'm gonna trash you. But then he's like, hey, I want to train you too. This is where this fight really got me though. Whenever you guys remember when Luke got thrown out the corridor, and he's hovering over the edge, and he's sneaking around to see where Vader's at. All of a sudden, Vader slices at him and misses him, and you hear him breathing heavy. That's when I was like, oh my God, Vader is menacing. He ain't playing around. If you get a man breathing heavy and he's mad, he ain't playing around. You need to run. Luke should have ran, but he didn't, got his hand cut off for that reason. Darth Vader wasn't playing around, and I really enjoyed that fight for that reason. So, my next fight and number 1 on my list, surprise, surprise, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn versus Darth Maul. Phantom Menace. This is number 1 for me because this was the first lightsaber duel that I got to see when I was a kid. Home theater, got this movie when I first watched it, saw this duel, and I was like, good lord, this is how Jedi fight in their prime. I fell in love with this duel. I love Darth Maul's double-bladed lightsaber. Oh, people, you may not be fans of the prequels. I'm sure there are fans out, people out there that don't like the prequels. I know there is. But you have to admit, when that double-bladed lightsaber came out, you guys were like, oh, shit, this guy means business. And when I saw that, I was like, god damn, this motherfucker's a beast. And seeing those 2 Jedi getting worked by Darth Maul, I was like, this is crazy. And just seeing how, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon worked together, see how Qui-Gon, died, to really, like, defend the galaxy. And he's seeing how Obi-Wan stepped up, and won that duel. Obi-Wan really has a lot of Derek Jeter, moments. He's very clutch in the playoffs. Obi-Wan's clutch in the playoffs, you know what I'm saying? But seeing how Obi-Wan just took that step to become a Jedi Knight was awesome. So that's why that's number 1 for me. I really enjoyed it. So there you have it, folks. My top 10 list for the top 10 Star Wars duels. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Leave your comments in the comment section. Let's have a good, healthy debate about this. Like I always say, people, comment, like and subscribe. Peace.